Let's start our first news. Islam Makhachev wants to get back into the Octagon soon, and he made it clear that he does not want to wait until after Ramadan. Islam said he wants to fight in January, or at the latest, before Ramadan begins in February. At 34 years old, Islam explained that he feels he needs to stay active. He also revealed that he has not suffered any major injuries and only needs to double-check his nose before returning. But the bigger story involves Ilia. Islam revealed that he had already agreed to fight Ilia in June. According to Islam, however, Ilia's side turned down the opportunity because they were not satisfied with the financial offer. Islam also explained why he did not compete at the White House event. He said Ali called him and asked if he wanted to fight there, and Islam immediately said yes. He was reportedly offered good money, but the next day he was told the fight was no longer happening. Islam said he later heard that the financial side became an issue, with Ilia's team apparently asking for more money and not receiving what they wanted. So, according to Islam's version of events, he was ready to fight, but the deal ultimately fell apart. Now, Islam is focused on getting back in the cage as quickly as possible, with January appearing to be his target before Ramadan. Move on to another news. Both Dana White and Islam Makhachev had some strong criticism for Ian Garry after their fight, particularly over the way he behaved during the 5th round. Dana White said he believed Garry had a real opportunity to pull off the upset. Islam was visibly hurt on one side of his body, and his face had taken significant damage. According to Dana, if Garry had shown even a little more killer instinct, the fight could have ended very differently. Instead, Garry continued to show respect, even approaching Islam between rounds, touching him, and trying to hug him. Dana admitted that this drives him crazy, especially when so much is at stake. He pointed out that the 5th round was the moment for Garry to push forward and try something explosive, such as a flying knee, rather than treating the fight like a friendly exchange. Dana also praised Garry's physical advantages. He described him as a big, rangy, and strong fighter with impressive takedown defense, and believed the matchup was perfectly set up for a potential upset. Islam had a similar reaction. He admitted that he respects all of his opponents, but felt Garry was showing too much respect during the fight. Islam said, "This is not a game. They were going to war, and the goal was to hurt each other inside the octagon." After the fight, Garry reportedly told Islam that he was fighting the greatest fighter of his life. Islam respected the compliment, calling Garry a good and kind person. But when the cage door closes, Islam made his position clear. This is war, not a friendship meeting. Looking at his battered face after the fight, he clearly felt that the respectful moments had no place in such a high-stakes battle. Move on to another news. Carlos Prates has made it clear that he is not interested in fighting Michael Morales in December, and the interaction between the two fighters has now added even more intrigue to the welterweight division. In a new video shared by a friend of Morales, the two fighters were seen standing right next to each other when Prates was asked about the possibility of facing Morales in December. Instead of accepting the challenge, Prates turned the idea down. His reasoning appears to be straightforward. Prates believes his next fight could be for the UFC title, meaning he does not want to take a matchup against Morales before getting that opportunity. The interesting part is that Prates did not completely reject the idea of fighting Morales. He simply wants to wait. During the exchange, Prates indicated that if he gets the title fight he is expecting, he would be willing to face Morales afterward. He specifically mentioned April 2027 as a potential timeframe. That creates a very interesting situation. Morales is clearly interested in the matchup, and with the two fighters standing face-to-face during the conversation, the tension was obvious. But Prates appears to have his eyes on something much bigger first. The Brazilian believes he has earned the opportunity to fight for the championship, and taking a dangerous contender like Morales in December could potentially delay that goal. At the same time, Prates is not running away from the matchup permanently. In fact, he essentially laid out a potential plan: fight for the title first, then face Morales afterward. During the exchange, the discussion became even more direct, with Prates indicating that he would fight one opponent in December and then face Morales in April. For Morales, that means he may have to wait. But if Prates gets the title opportunity he expects, the potential matchup could become even more interesting later. Morales is one of the dangerous young contenders in the division, while Prates has been building serious momentum of his own. A fight between them could eventually become a major welterweight matchup. For now, though, Prates has made his priority clear. December is not the time for Morales. His focus is on a title opportunity first, with April 2027 potentially becoming the date for their collision afterward. Move on to another news. Dana White has once again shut down any possibility of seeing Khabib return to the UFC for another fight, making it clear that he believes the former lightweight champion is done with competition. The topic came up after Khabib was seen in Islam Makhachev's corner, with footage also showing him putting on the gloves. Naturally, that sparked speculation that perhaps there could still be a chance to convince him to return for one more fight. But Dana White's response was extremely direct. He said he does not believe Khabib will ever come back, and at this point, he does not even think it is worth having another conversation with him about fighting. Dana explained that when Khabib was originally trying to retire, he pushed extremely hard to convince him to continue competing. White admitted that he was constantly trying to get Khabib to reconsider his decision. However, according to Dana, that situation has completely changed. He now believes there is virtually no chance of getting Khabib back inside the Octagon. Dana also pointed out that Khabib has moved on to a very different life. He joked that Khabib would now have to cut a significant amount of weight just to compete again, suggesting that the former champion is far removed from his fighting shape. More importantly, Dana believes Khabib is simply happy with the life he has built outside the cage. After retiring undefeated, Khabib has remained heavily involved in MMA, particularly through coaching and supporting fighters like Islam. His appearance in Islam's corner showed that his connection to the sport is still strong. But being involved in the sport and actually competing are two very different things. Dana White's latest comments suggest that fans should not expect a comeback anytime soon. In his view, Khabib has already made his decision, and this time, there is no realistic way to change his mind. Move on to another news. Islam Makhachev is wasting no time after his hard-fought decision victory over Ian Garry at UFC 330. Fresh off another successful title defense, Islam made it clear that he wants to return to the Octagon before Ramadan. He specifically mentioned January as his target, while leaving open the possibility of fighting even earlier if everything comes together. At 34 years old, Islam explained that he does not want to sit on the sidelines for too long. He feels he needs to stay active, especially because he is not dealing with any major injuries. Islam said he only needs to double-check his nose, but otherwise, he feels ready to begin preparing for another challenge. And there is another major factor behind his urgency. Islam is now competing at welterweight, a division he described as one of the toughest in the UFC. He acknowledged that the fighters at 170 pounds are bigger, stronger, and extremely difficult to deal with. He also admitted that he still wants to add more size to his frame. Despite already completing 5 demanding rounds at welterweight, Islam believes he can become even bigger and stronger before his next fight. His immediate plan is to return to the gym, continue building his body, and prepare himself for another dangerous opponent. Names like JDM, Ian Garry, Carlos Prates, Michael Morales, and Shafkat represent the level of competition waiting for him. Islam understands that moving between weight classes brings completely different physical challenges, but he appears more motivated than ever. With Prates currently being discussed as a potential next challenger, Islam is already thinking ahead. His message is simple. He wants to fight soon, he wants to stay active, and he wants another title defense before Ramadan begins. After another 5-round battle, the 2-division champion is already looking toward his next challenge. Move on to another news. Ilia has sent a surprising message to Islam Makhachev following his latest victory, and considering the history between these two fighters, the change in tone is impossible to ignore. For years, Ilia and Islam have exchanged heated comments and built plenty of bad blood through their public rivalry. But after Islam's latest title defense, Ilia appeared to put all of that aside. Speaking with a Spanish outlet, Ilia openly praised Islam and acknowledged the champion's abilities. Despite everything that has happened between them, Ilia admitted that he has always recognized Islam as an exceptional fighter. He described Islam as an amazing and very skilled competitor, making it clear that his respect for the champion has existed even during their most heated moments. But this was not simply a compliment. Ilia also made it clear that he still wants the super fight. Even after suffering a setback against Justin Gaethje, which slowed down his own momentum, Ilia has not abandoned the idea of eventually sharing the Octagon with Islam. In fact, he believes the matchup could be something special because of the styles involved. According to Ilia, a fight between them would be an absolute masterpiece. He believes their contrasting approaches could create an extremely entertaining battle. And he is still hoping the UFC can eventually find a way to make the fight happen. Ilia's message was straightforward. Islam is great, and that has never changed in his eyes, even when their relationship was far from friendly. He also made it clear that he hopes they eventually get the opportunity to settle everything inside the Octagon. For now, the fight remains uncertain, but Ilia's latest comments show that the desire is still there. The rivalry may have started with plenty of trash talk, but Ilia is now giving Islam the respect he believes the champion has earned, while keeping the door open for their long-awaited super fight. Move on to another news. Dana White has revealed that he personally stopped Michael Morales from entering the Octagon immediately after Islam Makhachev's victory over Ian Garry. Morales was serving as the backup fighter for the event, meaning he was already prepared to step in if something happened before the fight. But after Islam secured the victory, Morales apparently wanted to take advantage of the moment and make his presence known. According to Dana, Morales told him that he was planning to enter the cage after the fight, but Dana immediately told him to wait. Dana explained that he wanted Islam to have his moment after completing another demanding fight. Instead of allowing Morales to rush into the Octagon and immediately start calling for the champion, Dana decided it was better to slow everything down and see what happens next. The decision is interesting because Morales is one of the names being discussed as a potential future opponent for Islam. Morales had already positioned himself as the backup fighter, so he was in the building and ready for action. That gave him a perfect opportunity to make a statement in front of the champion and the UFC audience. But Dana clearly did not want the post-fight moment to turn into an immediate confrontation. His message was essentially simple: let Islam enjoy his victory first, then figure out the next matchup afterward. That could also suggest that the UFC is carefully considering its options for Islam's next fight. With several dangerous contenders in the division, including Morales and Carlos Prates, there are multiple possibilities for the champion's next title defense. For now, Morales will have to wait. Dana made sure there was no sudden cage appearance, no immediate confrontation, and no rushed call-out. Islam got to celebrate his victory, while the UFC can now take its time deciding who should stand across from him next.